Today's passage recounts the day when Jesus walked on the water. Clearly, that's one of the most famous things Jesus ever did. It would make almost anyone's top 10 list about what they remember about Jesus. Well, I don't have any footage of people walking on the water. Sorry, it's just not done. What I can show you is that it makes perfect sense that there might have been times when the disciples struggled to sail across the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is a freshwater lake that sits in a bowl. It's about 700 feet or 210 meters below sea level. So when the wind blows on the plains of the Galilee or on the plateau known as the Golan Heights, those winds can shoot through the great valleys on the northern corners of the lake. And this can create a swirling type of wind out on the water. When that happens, boy, it can be tough going for anyone trying to sail or row across the water. In this passage, I'd like to show you a character trait of Simon Peter that you might have missed. It's hard to see since it doesn't show up in Mark's telling of this story, but that's kind of the point. You're going to have to see what's not there to comprehend the lesson. Just remember, Mark is always telling us what he heard from Simon Peter. And Simon Peter said when the disciples saw Jesus walking on the water, they did not know it was Jesus. Now, don't be too hard on these guys for thinking they were seeing a ghost. It had been a long, exhausting night. It was just before dawn. All of them were whipped. And when they saw a figure in the darkness walking toward them, what were they supposed to think? There's no rational explanation that works, whether it's in broad daylight or at the darkest hours of the night. Jesus came close to them and told them immediately not to be afraid. He climbed aboard, told them to try moving the boat again, and immediately they found the sailing much easier. They reached the shore where a throng of people was waiting. And Jesus, he went right back to work. The crowd was overwhelming. The people were still arriving from distant locations. They all wanted something from Jesus. They were reaching for the fringes of his cloak like the woman who had been healed by doing that. Her story had spread like wildfire. Now come back with me to the moment when Jesus was walking on the water and the disciples were in the boat. Did you miss a part of this story in Mark's gospel? Wasn't there one more thing that happened out there on the water? There was. According to Matthew's telling of this story, Simon Peter had the courage to walk on the water with Jesus. Do you remember? He took a few steps. Then he panicked and sank, and Jesus rescued him. But the thing is, Simon Peter was the only one of the disciples courageous enough to do what his rabbi was doing. The very definition of a disciple is that a disciple imitates his rabbi. If your rabbi eats a certain diet, you do too. If he limps, you limp. If he teaches a certain doctrine from Scripture, you hold to that doctrine as if it's a lifeline. And so if he's walking on the water and he invites you to join him, you get out of the boat. This is one of Simon Peter's finest moments. And for whatever reason, it's not mentioned in the first written biography of Jesus' life. Now, there are stories about Simon Peter in this gospel, including once when Jesus rebuked Simon, and then that horrible night when Simon denied Jesus 3 times. But the day when Jesus handed the keys to the kingdom to Simon Peter, that's not in Mark's gospel. And neither is this heroic, miraculous moment when Simon was willing to risk his life in order to be just like Jesus. Simon Peter did not want people to think about him as he told these stories. He wanted them to think about Jesus. Simon said, "I'm not important. Jesus is all important." And that's the mark of a great disciple. Simon Peter is teaching us by example that humility is a vital part of being a disciple of Jesus. It's constantly pointing people to Jesus instead of yourself. And I think that's easy to miss when we think about Simon Peter. He seems so brash, so loud, so quick to act. We miss the fact that he matured into an incredibly effective leader of the early church. In fact, when he wrote a letter to some of his followers, he included a strong encouragement for the leaders of the church to be people of great humility. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. I can't help but think of the night when the strong and mighty hand of Jesus reached into the waves and lifted Simon up. He never got over that, and he devoted the rest of his life to telling people about Jesus. If you want your life to matter, do the same thing. People will remember when you got it right. They will remember when you look like a hero of the faith. Someone might even say, you had times when it seemed as if you could walk on water. That's not important. It's never been about you or me. What is important is that we do what Simon Peter did. Just keep telling our families, our friends, our churches, or anyone we meet, just keep telling them about Jesus. It's how we humble ourselves. In due time, God will lift us up, and the people who see this happen will give God the glory.